All right, today we're talking about something called the Balanced Scorecard. Now, you might hear management system and think it sounds a little dry, but stick with me. This thing completely changed the game for how companies measure success. It's all about looking beyond just the numbers on a spreadsheet to see what really makes a company tick. So let's start with a big question. Is profit the only thing that matters for a company's success? For a really long time, the answer was pretty much yeah. Financial performance was king. But just think about that for a second. Does last quarter's profit tell you if your company is actually set up to succeed next year? Does it tell you if your customers are happy? Or if your team is coming up with brilliant new ideas? Not really, right? It's just one piece of the puzzle.
Okay, so this is where the big difference comes in. The old way of doing things, it's all about what are called lagging indicators. Think of it like looking in your car's rearview mirror. Things like last quarter's revenue tell you where you've been, super important for sure, but it doesn't help you see the road ahead. The balanced scorecard approach brings in leading indicators. These are more like looking through the windshield, things like employee training or customer satisfaction. They give you a pretty good idea of where you're going. It's about getting that full holistic view.
So where did this idea for a more balanced view come from? Well, back in the early 90s, two guys, Robert Kaplan and David Norton, looked at the business world and saw a huge problem. They realized companies were basically trying to drive into the future by only looking in that rearview mirror. So they set out to build a better dashboard.
And what they came up with was, you guessed it, the Balanced Scorecard. The core idea here is really powerful. It's a system designed to be a bridge. On one side, you've got the company's big, ambitious vision. We want to be the best in the world. On the other side, you've got the day-to-day work everyone is doing. The scorecard connects those two things. It's not just about tracking numbers. It's about making sure that the strategy is something real that everyone can actually do something about. So, what does this new dashboard actually look like? Well, Kaplan and Norton created a framework with 4 key perspectives. Think of it as a complete checkup for a company's health. Let's break them down. First up, we have the financial perspective. This is the one everybody knows. It answers that classic question, are we making our shareholders happy? So yeah, we're talking about profit, revenue, cash flow, all that good stuff. And look, this is absolutely crucial. But the key insight of the balanced scorecard is that this is only one part of the story. Next, we have the customer perspective. This one asks a really important question. How do our customers actually see us? Here, you're tracking things like customer satisfaction. Are they sticking around? Are we gaining new ones? Because let's be real, you can have amazing profits one quarter, but if your customers are unhappy, that financial success is not going to last. Okay, then we look inward with the internal perspective. The question here is, to make our shareholders and customers happy, what do we need to be world-class at? This is all about how the company actually runs. Are our processes efficient? Is our quality top-notch? It's about making sure the engine of the whole operation is tuned up and running perfectly. And last, but definitely not least, we have the learning and growth perspective. This, to me, is the most exciting one because it's all about the future. It asks, how are we setting ourselves up to keep getting better? This is where you look at things like employee skills, the company culture, and the technology you're using. These are the things that fuel innovation and make sure the company doesn't just survive but actually thrives down the road. So when you put all 4 of these together, you can really see why it's called a balanced scorecard. You've got the external view from your shareholders and customers balanced against the internal view of your processes and your people. And you've got those backward-looking financial numbers balanced by the forward-looking indicators for growth. It's a truly complete picture. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The magic of the balanced scorecard isn't just having these 4 boxes. The real genius is in how they all connect. There's a powerful cause and effect logic that ties everything together into a single story. So check this out. It works like a chain reaction, usually starting from the bottom. First, you invest in learning and growth. You train your people, you create a culture of innovation. What happens next? Well, those smarter, more innovative people start improving your internal processes. And when your processes get better, you create better products and services, which leads to happier customers. And what do happy customers do? They buy more, they tell their friends, and that leads directly to financial success. See, it's this beautiful, logical flow that shows exactly how your strategy turns into results. And that quote really hits the nail on the head. If you take away just one thing, let it be this. The balanced scorecard is so much more than a report card. It's a communication tool. It takes that big, sometimes fuzzy company strategy and translates it into a clear roadmap that everyone from the CEO down to the frontline employee can look at it and say, okay, I get what we're doing, and I know how my job fits into that bigger picture. So, to wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question. This whole idea isn't just for Fortune 500 companies. Think about your own life, your own career. Your grades? Maybe that's your financial perspective. But what about the other boxes? What are you doing for your customer, your network, your future employers? What internal processes are you improving? Your study habits, your health? And what about learning and growth? What new skills are you picking up? So, beyond just the grades, what's on your personal balanced scorecard?